just went through this. When he asked you about investigations, which we all agree now means the Bidens, we just did this about 30 seconds ago. Right? It's a pretty simple question, isn't it? I guess I'm having trouble why you can't just say...
When he asked about investigations, I assumed he meant...
I know what you assumed.
Company.
But who would benefit from an investigation of the Bidens?
They're two different questions.
I'm just asking you one. Who would benefit from an investigation of the Bidens?
I assume President Trump would benefit.
There we have it, see? Didn't hurt a bit, did it? Didn't hurt a bit. But let me ask you something.
Mr. Maloney.
Hold on, sir.
Excuse me. I've been very forthright, and I really resent what you're trying to do.
Fair enough. You've been very forthright. This is your third try to do so, sir. Didn't work so well the first time, did it? We had a little declaration come in after, you remember that? And now we're here a third time, and we got a doozy of a statement from you this morning. There's a whole bunch of stuff you don't recall. So all due respect, sir, we appreciate your candor, but let's be really clear on what it took to get it out of you.
Even I'm shaken by that reprimanding by Democratic lawmaker Sean Patrick Maloney, and I wasn't even part of an international extortion scheme. But if Maloney was harsh, it was for good reason, considering Sondland actually did lie to House investigators during the initial private deposition when he told them that he never thought there was any precondition on the aid. And it was only after other testimonies from witnesses began getting released that Sondland realized that his story was being contradicted. And so he amended his initial testimony with a 4-page sworn statement admitting that he did in fact tell a top Ukrainian official that they would have to give the promise of an announcement of an investigation into Joe Biden before the military aid would be released. But more importantly, Maloney got Sondland to say, clear as day, what everyone already knows to be true, that the investigations that Trump was so desperate to make sure went forward would be to his own personal benefit. And while him saying so is yet another in a long list of strikes against Trump, this speaks to the entire Republican strategy here, and that is denying the obvious. What we have is an extortion scheme, and it is as clear as day. Just look at the facts surrounding this case. Trump frames himself as this anti-corruption crusader, but he's never fought corruption anywhere else in the entire world except for, what, a country in Eastern Europe where he could just so happen to tie it to an investigation with his top political opponent? We know that the aid was frozen while Giuliani, at Trump's orders, made it perfectly clear to everyone, including Gordon Sondland, that the announcement of an investigation would be a condition for the release of the aid. We know that Trump only released the aid after he got caught. It was within a day of the Intel Community Inspector General releasing the whistleblower complaint to Congress. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure all of this out. And yet that's how dumb the Republicans think the American people are, that we're somehow not able to very clearly see that 2 + 2 is 4, that Trump made sure the aid was withheld until he got his favor from Ukraine. And it was Eric Swalwell who made this point abundantly clear.
Would you agree that it is wrong for the President of the United States to ask the leader of a foreign government to investigate the President of the United States' political opponent?
Yes.
Would you agree that in addition to making that request for an investigation, leveraging a visit at the White House that a foreign government leader desperately needs is also wrong? But if one of those conditions is to investigate a political opponent, you would agree that would be wrong?
The political opponent, yes.
And if you asked a foreign government leader to investigate your political opponent, leveraged a White House meeting, and leveraged security assistance, in this hypothetical, you would agree all three of those are wrong?
In the hypothetical, yes, I would agree.
One final hypothetical. If someone walks through those two doors wearing rain boots, a raincoat, and holding an umbrella with raindrops falling off of them, do you have to see outside that it's raining to presume or conclude that it might be raining outside?
I understand your hypothetical.
But the fact is, if Trump was innocent, his officials wouldn't be scrambling to pretend that they weren't on the infamous July 25th call with Zelensky, which they were. They wouldn't have hidden the call summary in a secure server, which they did. They wouldn't have blocked administration officials from testifying, which they continue to do. Trump wouldn't have fired Marie Yovanovitch, whom Giuliani saw as an impediment to his goals, which he did. I feel like this goes without saying, but these are not things that innocent people do. And while Trump and Mulvaney and Pompeo are quick to discount everything that's being said at these public hearings, it begs the question why they won't simply show up to testify themselves. And the reason is that they know they'll likely commit perjury if they're under oath. The facts are clearly not on their side, because while they swear up and down that they're all totally innocent, what actually matters is that none are willing to put themselves at risk and testify to Congress. And so in the meantime, while administration officials continue to shout from the safety of not being under oath, The fact is that those who have testified have shown conclusively that Trump committed the impeachable offense of leveraging legally allocated, taxpayer-funded military aid on the promise of an investigation into his political opponent, where
I assume President Trump would benefit.
There we have it, see?